Hola, mi gente. Welcome to Uno Souls Chat. I'm Philip Johnson, and I'm introducing the founder of Uno Souls, Brigida Toruño.
Hello, Philip. I'm so glad that we're doing this together. We're going to be co-hosting some nice chit chats for you before the Uno Souls chat to intro that for you. And I have known Philip, who is an Uno Soul. I've known him for a very, very long time, and he's a wonderful and kind person. And his heritage is Ecuadorian and American. And I'm just so honored that you're here and that we get to talk about this chat that we're about to listen to.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So, who are we listening to this week? Tom Sweitzer, is it?
Yes, this week is going to be Tom Sweitzer, and he is a music therapist and the founder of A Place to Be, which is located here in Loudoun County, Virginia.
I have already listened to the chat, and there is a really interesting story that Tom talks about where, a woman comes and does a course and she ends up crying from listening to herself sing, which really resonated with me. And I can't wait for everyone else to hear it as well. And, what leads up to that and how sort of healing, this music therapy is.
Yeah, you're right, Philip. Tom has been doing some great work in the community, and that's definitely one example of many of his stories. And he has, I just found that he had so many great things to say during the chat. And one of them, he said, since COVID-19, music has surrounded the healing of humanity. And
Right.
I just feel like that's so deep and so true. I mean, it even reminds me of in early COVID days, March,
Mhm.
April, when Italy was hit so hard and people were going out on their balconies to sing these beautiful Italian music, and everybody was singing together. And I just think that was such a great example of coming together, the connectivity that we have, of that we're one humanity and that we strive to be in a good place. So
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Music has this way of being a cross-cultural connector, and language aside, people can gather around song and have the same feeling without needing to, directly communicate word to word. I really love that too. There was something else he mentioned, which was, putting on a song from maybe when you were younger that reminds you of a memory. And I've definitely found myself doing that during showers or just, breathing exercises. It's been really helpful.
good. Now, what is one of your favorite songs from your childhood?
Well, actually, there's a song by a duo, Servando y Florentino. There's a song called Estás hecha para mí, You're made for me. And it actually really reminds me of some childhood memories that I have with our family and, being with, your daughter, Brigida. And that one does a lot for me. And then there's some others that come out. There are little mini playlists I have there. But yeah, I mean, it just sort of brings you back to a time when you could be together, when, you could extend a hand and be around people. So, I mean, so pre-COVID, during COVID, post-COVID, I am very interested to hear more about how music therapy is helping and how it's helping
Yeah,
people cope. Yeah, so let's just listen. Let's get right into it and listen to this conversation, this Uno Souls chat with Tom Sweitzer.
that sounds great. Thank you so much. I can't wait.
Can't wait to. Oh, and make sure you stick around to the end. I'm pretty sure you'll want to hear about a new offering that A Place to Be has. So tune all the way through.
Great. Thanks. And I am honored and full of joy today to be chatting with Tom Sweitzer, an Uno Soul. He is the creative director and founder of A Place to Be. He is a therapist, a writer, an actor, and a speaker. Welcome, Tom.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. And I'm
Yes.
happy to be here talking to you on this beautiful Thursday day.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I am honored that you're here. I would love to hear, how have you been doing? You know, how have you been coping during these unprecedented times?
Yeah, well, first, just let me thank you for that introduction. Uh, I'm a co-founder, so I founded
Oh,
A Place to Be with Kim Tapper, and
okay.
we have been working together, well, for over 20 years, but A Place to Be is now going into its 10th year.
Oh, wow.
Um, I myself and A
Congratulations.
Place to Be, we have been surviving as well as you can survive. I mean, as far as business is concerned, we have pivoted like many businesses. We went from one-on-one and group therapy, music therapy. We are a music therapy center.
Okay.
Uh, from face to face to complete teletherapy,
Okay.
uh, and it has been, I think, majorly successful. It's difficult to communicate two-dimensionally, especially when you're using music, because in Zoom there's a
Hmm.
2-second delay.
Ah,
But it has not stopped us from doing our clinical therapeutic work.
okay.
So we're doing that, and we've been trying to innovate some new ideas. And as for me, I have been walking uh, incessantly with my dog,
That's great. Walking is
writing.
great.
Yeah, yeah, writing music. Um,
Ah,
and then I've also tried new. I'm a reader, but I've been doing a lot of work running a tiny business like this, not so tiny. Uh, it's been mostly a lot of work with Zoom and new ideas and piloting, a lot of talking to parents, a lot of talking to our clients. And then, like for myself, I literally have tried just some new things. This sounds really silly, but I was an 80s kid, but I never touched a Lego in my life.
oh,
So
yeah.
I bought I bought some Legos and I was like, I'm going to try that.
That's
So
awesome. Legos
yeah,
are great.
yeah, well, it keeps my mind goes, and I've been writing a lot of music. I'm a composer, and I joke to say that probably in the next 3 to 5 months, I'll probably have an album called COVID. Uh,
Oh, wonderful. That
which
would be great. I'd
Well, I'll
love to
definitely
hear
find a
that.
better name than COVID. Uh, so I've been okay, and I've been lucky to have a small sphere. I live here with my dog Hazel,
Yes,
um, but I have a small sphere of people around me that I kept. The main 4 to 6 people for those first 3 months.
that's so important. Yeah, to have that tight community that you all help each other.
Yeah, and because I definitely was in the house for most of the first month or two, and I'm a big believer in wearing the mask and helping other people out by doing the right thing. And there's so much information out there that's confusing. And I guess the best thing I've tried to do for myself, and I'm not always good at that, is I'm trying to, I have to be on social media. That's part of my life and my
Yes,
job and my
it's
career.
important. Yes.
But scrolling through negative posts and confusing information, I've tried to really limit my time with the news and that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Yeah, I understand that completely. I have a hard time with the negative comments on Facebook or other social media, and I definitely try to scroll through that because it just really impacts me. You know, it kind of throws me off for a bit, but I have to like ground myself again.
Yeah,
So
very so easily we can like just scroll and one image can just throw your mind into a different place.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. Well, it sounds like you've had a number of creative surges during this time.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And I found the same thing with myself. Going through different moments at the beginning. I think especially I had a little bit more of emotions around fear and anger and sadness, and I have my way of dealing with those emotions. I after many years of trying to figure it out, I tend more towards the Buddhist idea of hold that emotion in the palm of your hand and invite it for a cup of tea. And
Mm.
then before you know it, that yeah, as you're acknowledging that sadness, then it does seem to go away because of how emotions are impermanent.
Yeah,
But
I mean that's brilliant. I think denying that we're feeling fear or scared is not helpful. And
yeah,
being a therapist myself, I often talk about suppressing feelings of any kind. They're going to come up sometime, some way, and they might come up in a situation or an activity or perhaps something you do in your life that you really don't want to be doing. And that's
that's right.
that's how easily we can drink too much wine when you're home, and you can start bad habits or come off not the way you really want to be at peace with other people because the fear is churning inside. So
And you want to cover it with something else. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and obviously as a music therapist, I use music often, and I
Yeah.
try to tell other people that, which it's very obvious. I mean, ever since the beginning of COVID, it's obvious that music has surrounded the healing of
Absolutely.
humanity. We saw it, you go back months ago in the balconies of Italy.
That was so
Um,
beautiful, so touching. Yeah.
and now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And music is really the soundtrack to how we're, getting through.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on a side note for you, my mother was a musician, and she was from Ecuador.
Hmm.
And so from the time I was born, I was surrounded by music. And it is very healing. And I think, she suffered from depression in her life. And I remember my grandmother, her mother, would say, honey, here's the guitar, or come here and sit at the piano and start to play. And it would transform my mother, you
Mm.
know. So I know how healing
And I'm sure in
music.
Ecuador too. I mean, those areas of the world too. Music is such a integral part of society and traditions and religions and celebration.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get the musical gene. It kind of skipped me. And I mean, so I love music, and she sang beautifully. She composed music and lyrics and everything. And I can play a little, I can dabble on the piano,
Right.
dabble on the guitar. And I did play the violin when I was
Okay.
younger. And I like to sing, but it's still a muscle that you have to like
You
practice.
do. You do. It is a muscle, and yeah, and I'm a real believer. Well, I think there are just very, very tiny few of people who really, really, really can't sing. But I'm a true believer that everybody can sing, and there's been so much pressure from all the reality shows of like what singing really is and
Mm,
being perfect or on pitch or special. But the
yeah,
truth is, everybody can sing, and letting out your voice, using your voice to share, to express. Um, mostly, like when I have seen clients that I have worked with, people that have never sung in their life,
mm,
sing for the first time. One person I worked with years ago, she was a three-time survivor with cancer, of
uh,
cancer,
mm,
and she never sang in her life. And she was what you've heard this story a million times. She was like in grade school in the 60s or something, and somebody told her, "Oh, stop! You can't sing. Stop singing." A lot of
mm,
people were told that. Like if you weren't a
mm.
great singer, your teachers often would say, "You just mouth it or don't sing."
Oh, it's
First
too
time I had
bad.
her sing in a session, just tears came down her face because she heard herself.
Oh,
And she even said, like in the car, I listen to music, but I don't even sing out loud. And that's part of therapy. That's just one method is singing, through music therapy. And then what you do is when that person is there and she got to that place where she she felt like she had something that she wanted to share, the music brought her to that place, and that's where the therapy, that's where the therapy starts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I mean, I really admire your work so much. You just bring so much health and wellness to the community, to people that come to you and your staff. I mean, it's really such important work. So
Thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you. I feel very blessed to have my job.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I um, I did see your play in, I think it was the fall in Middleburg.
Yep.
I would love to hear you chat a little bit about that. I loved it. I was in tears. It was such a again such a beautiful thing that you did, because you were just so vulnerable about your childhood, your life, and but where that brought you,
Mm,
and so and it's such a beautiful story.
thank you. I'm glad you were there. Yeah, it was really, it's like what I always dreamt I wanted to do in my life is to, you know, we all have our childhood story, and I've been through years and years of therapy like many other people.
Mhm.
And you have to be in a certain place as a performer and an artist to put your own life on stage. And I had to really wait for many years. I'm 48 now, and I had that idea of like doing a one-man show when I was 30, 35, 40. I wasn't
Oh,
ready. I mean,
right,
you really have to be at peace, or mostly at peace.
right.
That's
Because
sort of
it's a continuous life journey, right?
right. And
That's what I have found.
you remember the show. I mean, it's about being broken and how we're still whole human beings, even though we're all broken. And my
Yes,
relationship with my dad and my mom was really it profoundly changed it profoundly affected who I was about to be in the world. And I think the forgiveness of my father, between my father and I think that's a huge lesson for every single person that's out there. And I'm the one who benefited, and who I'm blessed to have had that ending with my father before he died. So,
that's right.
and food and music. The show's called Meatballs and Music. Food
Yeah,
was a huge, living in an Italian family. It was basically our pastime, and it was
right.
basically how we bonded. And music saved my life. So
Yeah,
it was a joy to do. I do plan on doing it in the future and getting it. There are some theaters out there interested, but right now, I mean, at least for the next
yeah.
4 to 6 months, I'm writing other stuff because
Good.
theater's not going to be happening right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a shame, but it is an important thing to try to take care of all of us. And that's
Yeah,
great that you're being inspired to write others. So I can't wait to see those.
thank you. Yeah, the what I'm writing now is much more. I mean, that Meatballs and Music is really the most personal
Hmm.
piece, and yes, it is. It's dark, but very true. Right now, I'm really working hard on a children's series. That
Yeah, I was going to ask you about
Sure.
that. Good. Thank you for bringing it up. I'd like to hear all about that.
Yeah, so probably in like week 3 of COVID, for fear, not going out.
Yeah.
I really have been. I was really feeling feeling
Mhm.
depressed
Yes.
about not seeing the kids we work with. We were all working on productions and shows. And the main basis of A Place to Be is we work with people with life challenges and disabilities through music therapy. And one of our big components is performance. And it was just
Hmm.
killing me inside, like not seeing them on stage. And then, the big question was, what can what am I to be doing? And woke up with that weird feeling of like I have to do something. And
Hmm.
then I have the honor of having a friendship with Renee Fleming, who is a renowned opera star, of course.
Wow.
And as I walked downstairs and I turned on my television, she was on it. And then right after that was a commercial for how to talk to your children about COVID. And I
Uh,
went right to the piano and I thought, oh, the land of music.
ah,
So it is now 2 months later. We're actually filming the first episode tonight.
oh,
Our big room in our center is not being used, so we turn it into a movie studio.
oh, how
Um,
exciting.
and about 70% of each 11-minute episode
Uh-huh.
is animated. And the animation and the voices are our clients, are
Oh,
a place to be, young people, and well, I guess all ages actually. So yeah, this is where we're focused on. That's one of my focuses right now is to get this series out, and we're looking into August, and we probably will distribute it first to schools, elementary schools around all the counties, and then
okay.
it will be on our YouTube site, and you can see it. And basically, what it is, it's to help. We focused it really to ages 4 to 10.
Hmm.
Although I think a 3-year-old and a 12-year-old would find it fun,
I'm sure,
uh,
or a 57-year-old.
or a 47-year-old or a 48-year-old. So what happens in the land of music, there's this boy who is in our world, and he gets sucked in through his piano by Maestro Sound, and I'm the voice of Maestro Sound. And Maestro Sound, he conducts the whole land of music. And what the land of music is it's where all music that we hear, it has a home. So
Ah,
this is where music lives. So you meet all these characters that represent singing, brass, guitars, and one of my favorite characters that has been created is his name is Phil Feelings, and
ah,
he represents all the feelings we feel. So what happens is into the episodes, another maestro comes to town, and his name is Maestro Silence, and with him he brings a sort of virus to the land of music, and Silence stops their music, and they have to start wearing masks and staying in their little houses that are shaped like violins and oboes,
oh, how
uh,
cute.
until they find that being grateful, kind, and loving one another can break that virus. So,
Oh, that
yeah,
is a beautiful thing.
thank you.
I love that.
Thank you.
Wow,
I'm having so much fun with it.
so creative and so important. You're just bringing all of your skills together
Thank you.
under that one roof, and what a benefit it will be for the kids.
Yeah, I think, it should be informative, but really it should be very fun and something the whole family can watch. And it's very basic. The animation is basic, and it's almost like a throwback to old Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, Smurfs.
Very
Like,
nice.
it's just I love that our clients and that our people from a place to be, that they're in this because they all want something to do. And so this is a
Yeah.
project that I know that they're very happy to be in, but when we distribute it out, I hope that people enjoy it and it causes a conversation, and watching the little characters of the land of music go through the same thing we have to go through might be helpful.
That's right. That's right. That sounds wonderful, Tom.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
I
you.
have 5 grandbabies.
Ah,
Yeah, range in age from they're 6'5", 4", and then 8 months and 6 months, and they're from
wow.
two kids.
Okay, good. I'm glad it was two.
I know that would have been pretty tricky math there.
Wow.
But I think that I would love for them to, the older ones to be able to see it, the 4, 5, and 6-year-olds,
Oh, 4 or 5.
because
It's really, I think it's going to hone into that age right there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and it's been
because
really enjoyable. So,
yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's so important for them to grasp onto that idea, of because this is so new for them. I mean, oh, I'm inside the house, and the slightly older ones have to wear the mask. It's all, I mean, it's new for us as adults, and
Right.
it's upsetting, and it's a change. So I just, try to put myself in the shoes and the minds of these little ones, and how important it is that at so many moments they can have an understanding through a program like yours.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you think about how scary and how traumatic, especially when you're 4, 5, or 6. I mean, maybe birth through 3, you're kind of not really understanding what's going on, but
Right.
starting at 3, 4, 5, I mean, you're, mommy, why are we wearing a mask? And what is all this news? And why are people walking like, I mean,
Yeah,
I can't imagine being a child right now.
exactly.
And school has
Yeah.
been turned upside down, and there's a lot
Yes.
of fear. And I think, I don't, I have accidentally helped raise children. I don't have any of my own, but,
Mhm.
it's really important that we stay, even if we have some fear in ourselves, to stay grounded enough that we're not kind of projecting or passing that on to the children, because it's really enough that they have to like be scared to stay in the house and not go outside and don't touch that and put on your mask. And this part of the face here is really important to expression.
That's right.
And this is where young children too, they start to realize like, oh, that's the feeling of empathy, or that man's angry, or he's
Yeah.
sad or she's sad.
To read the body language. Yeah, I was thinking about, and maybe it's already out there, but creating some masks that are see-through.
They're out there. Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to order some because we are going to try maybe in August to do some pilot one-on-one sessions with all the right PPE, the right equipment, and the right protocol from the CDC.
That's
And so they
great.
do have clear masks, and they also have shields.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
and I even thought, I was at the dentist yesterday, and she used the clear shield, and I was like, be kind of fun to put eyes on the top with eyebrows and a
Yeah.
hat, maybe, like especially for our population of younger children, those with autism. We have a very large population with autism.
Hmm.
Just something to lessen the starkness of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's a great idea. Yeah. I can
Thank
see
you.
that happening for you. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to have somebody put that. Like, I have all these ideas. This is like why everybody at the center tells me stop having ideas.
No, don't ever stop having ideas.
Well,
That's so important. It's what makes the world go round and
it
makes
is.
it a better place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
What do you see as the new normal in the coming months?
Yeah. Well, beyond COVID, we have a lot of upheaval, and we have a time right now that rightfully so, there's a lot of passion
Yes.
toward equality and light, and but at the same time, I have definitely seen some anger, misguided, and then there has been anger that has been completely guided in the right direction.
Yeah.
I sort of have thought since I was a kid that this day may come.
Ah,
Sort of upheaval of how we think society should be,
yes.
on so many levels. And I think that the timing for everything, COVID, isolation, everything that is happening right now with equality and the millions of protests, it's all supposed to happen because our world needs to be awoken. And I have been trying to learn as much as I can on every level. I mean, to be really
Yes.
honest with you, what I've been focused on is my mission in this world right now and for the last 10 years has been a place to be.
Yes.
And so, we unfortunately, like many other businesses, we had to furlough people.
Mm.
So my focus has been really to make sure that I can keep everybody employed, and to make sure, more importantly, that we work with about 150 families per week that we
Wow.
don't let them down. And then the other
Yeah.
part of me is I'm trying to see what I can learn and what can I do. And it's a very tedious time right now to say you can do anything or put out anything in the public that is not exactly what somebody else thinks. So I'm staying as a straight shooter ahead of, I'm really working on our mission of love and inclusion and music therapy. And then the
Hmm.
other part of me is trying to just spread love as much as I can, and also to be open to learn. And
Right.
I think the new normal, I'm I'm thinking that the new normal could change like every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think maybe when we get to like, November, December, January, February, March, or wherever, somewhere,
Yes.
um, I think there is going to be a large community of us
Hmm.
who are going to be more grateful, more open, and I do fear that there might be some people that don't even want to walk into that vulnerability at all. And
Hmm.
so maybe the separation, the divide might even be worse. But I think the hope and people out there that want to grow from love, grow from learning, grow from knowing that you might be ignorant about certain subjects or you might have made mistakes or been wrong, and that you can put that vulnerability out there, that our world could be a much more beautiful place. And I think arts will play a huge part in that. I think,
I do too.
yeah, when we start to hear the music again, new music and new Broadway shows, and same with sports. I
Yes.
mean, like just people. These are places that people congregated to feel, they have family or something to believe in bigger than them, and truly, people that believe in God, I do, and I'm okay to say that out loud. I
Yes.
have something bigger than myself every day of my life,
Me too.
and then music is the other something.
Yes.
But for somebody else, that might be baseball. And I
Exactly.
think
And that's okay.
humanity,
That's what I always say. Everybody has something that they're drawn towards in order to help them cope, or just, even outside of the coping, it's just something that's your anchor. And
yeah,
everybody has different anchors, and that's okay.
and that's okay. And that I think that could be the new normal too. Like
That's
that
right.
that no matter who you are, what color your skin, what you believe in, that we could maybe begin to live in a world that has a little bit more consciousness.
Yeah.
Because I really wake up every day thinking, what can I do? But I will say this though, and this is important. This is an important thing that I've been saying. It, I would love to give permission to myself and to anybody else out there that it is okay also to be a good person and to learn and to know what you need to learn, but to also be quiet about it.
Ah.
I really appreciate the people that are not. I really appreciate what I hear, what I read, what I see, but I think it's also okay to do things actively,
Mm-hmm.
proactively, and you don't have to announce it. And
That's
you don't
right.
have to put it out there. I mean, I think people are now afraid, and if we keep on making people afraid of, like, oh, I want to say something, but I don't know. I did. Do it on your own. Do it with a phone call. Do it with signing a petition. Do it with reading a book, a documentary. There's a way that you can do it, and I really feel there has to be permission given to those that are fearful to right now open their mouth to say anything.
What you said is so important, Tom.
Thank,
It's so important because I think it's about, not being judgmental of others, right? It kind of comes
yep,
down to that. And in the sense of, I think you're right, because people think if I say something, people are going to come down on them. And it's almost right now, no matter what you say, it doesn't seem to be the right thing. It's going to rub somebody the wrong way.
right.
And
Yes, exactly. So maybe trying to do your own right thing. And I think as long as it comes from love, and it
yes,
might not be exactly what somebody else out in the world thinks you should be doing, that's okay.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
all right. If it comes from a place of hate or comes from a place of like tearing another culture or religion or human being, anybody in humanity down,
yeah,
then that's another thing. But I think there are just so many people that don't even know what to do.
Hmm.
And then many of us that are trying to do our things quietly. And also when we have a focus on something that, Place to Be has been my baby along with Kim Tapper, and we have a great executive director, John Tong.
Mm.
We have to be there for those 150 people, families a week, and we hope to get that to 300 soon. So,
Good.
and we
I'm sure
worked
you
with,
will.
a program over COVID time that I'm really proud of, because we had to close everything. That means you have to stop your budget too. You can't
That's
spend.
right.
But
Yeah.
a donor came up to me maybe on the second week of when the real closure was happening
Hmm.
and said, "I'd like to give a gift if you would consider doing free music therapy for 8 weeks with families and children that are in high need." So
Oh.
we worked right with Loudoun County Public Schools. They were great to work with. And I
Mm.
think we had 85 families, between
Oh.
75 and 85 families per week that
Wow.
we worked with to give free music therapy. And it was just phenomenal.
What a beautiful thing.
Oh, those, it was the gift from that human being. The center is only a conduit. And
Yes.
my therapists they are heroes because my therapist doing Zoom
Hmm.
every day for 7 hours, sometimes in a row.
Hmm.
Um, I just really highly respect the therapists that we have at A Place to Be and can't thank them enough.
That's great. You're doing great work. I totally agree too what you were saying about, that love, we have to put love out there. And along with that, I would say compassion. I
Yep.
just really feel that that's a big component
It's the
to,
biggest, I think.
yeah,
And, we talk a lot about empathy. I think compassion is of the utmost because when you're trying, right now we're trying to really listen to look into other people's stories or into America's story.
yes,
And until we really can look at it with compassion, look
yes.
at ourselves with compassion,
Hmm.
looked look at those who have been definitely, you know, uh, more than slighted but abused for many years, and
Yes.
that goes on for many populations.
That's right. Yeah, I'm Latina, and my parents were from Argentina and Ecuador, and I mean, they went through a lot, and I have even gone through a lot. I was born in this country, but didn't speak Spanish until English until I started kindergarten and was
Mm,
rudely introduced to the language. But like you said, everybody has a story,
everybody
so
does.
it is important to be able to give a voice to that, and that we all can get educated. There's a quote by Cheryl Strayed that I like. It says, "Compassion is about giving all the love that you've got."
Mm,
Um, and I just think that
beautiful.
that's so important.
That's really beautiful. Who said that? Who's the
Cheryl
quote?
Strayed,
Mhm.
Strayed, and I might not be pronouncing the last name correctly.
She
Yeah.
doesn't care. She has compassion for you. She'll
That's right.
understand.
That's right. She does. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that quote's beautiful, and I think that gets kind of complex too because the statement you've heard all of our lives, like you have to love yourself before loving others.
Yeah.
But I think if everything comes from a place of love, I read a lot of Gary Zukov and
Oh, I love
Eckhart
that. I
Tolle.
love Gary.
Yeah, and his whole thing is no matter what situation you're about to come into, if you can come into it with love, even if you're yelling at somebody, firing someone, you're being hurt by somebody, or you're having a confrontation. If you come at it, it changes. First of all, it changes your tone. It changes, the placement of where everything is coming from, and then it also changes the expectation. Because
That's
sometimes
right.
we put expectations so high that you know because we come at some things, and I have done that several times out of fear,
Yeah.
out of fear of loss, fear of abandonment, fear of
Yeah.
being wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's something too where I remind myself to speak from my heart, to sort of ground myself and speak from my heart, because that will be the love that's coming out versus just from my head. So I
Totally.
yeah, it's such an important time for us to be gentle with ourselves. I mean, I that's another one that I'm always trying to remind myself about, because I mean, we're just going through a tremendous transformation in the world, and we have to be gentle with ourselves, take it easy about emotions that come up and the different situations.
We do, and this is like why, I mean, we hear everywhere that people's, sleep is disturbed. It's
Yeah,
disturbed because our minds, what we feel and what we hear first thing in the morning, or what we're worried about, and then that doesn't even have anything to do with our personal. I mean, it has everything to do with our personal lives, but you still have to go to the bank, go to the dentist, get your back checked, go to your chiropractor, get the
that's
grocery. I
right.
mean, just
Yeah,
functioning has become, an ultimate task.
exactly.
And I can't imagine, like I saw, I was at Safeway the other day. We're lucky to have Safeway like 4 blocks away
Oh,
from
nice.
the house. But there was maybe somebody in her 80s and with a mask on. And you could tell she was having a lot. It was hot. It was trouble breathing, and she couldn't. You think about some of the people that this situation, COVID, has just caused an isolation beyond all isolations for them. So
That's
I feel
right.
blessed every day that I wake up and I'm able to walk in a small little village. I'm able to have health, be able to
Yeah,
talk to you.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well, I feel this is a powerful time for us to love each other, to unite, and to live in peace. And I feel like I could talk with you all day, Tom. This has been wonderful. You are just a
Well,
wealth of information
we
and
can do
doing
lunch sometime when we can see each other for real.
that would be great. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Thank you for
Tom,
having me.
sure, thank you. I was wondering, you've given us lots of words of wisdom, but could you leave us with a couple more words of wisdom?
Sure, and I do want to put out that if anybody knows anybody out there that could use music therapy, we have two programs. One is just music therapy for any age. We do focus on adolescents, children, and young adults. But
Okay.
if people need anything from redirection, anti-anxiety, depression, or just focusing and expression, there's that. There is something
Good.
called Interlude. Interlude will be around, I think we open it in August, and that's just for parents and adults. And it's
Oh,
45-minute music therapy sessions where you get to decompress with music with a certified music therapist. So
oh, I might need to sign up for that.
yeah, I think it can be really fun.
I have
Uh,
adult children. Does that
yeah,
count?
absolutely. Um, yeah, so I think the last thing I would say, I think the word I'm going to close on too is compassion.
Mhm.
And I think that having compassion for yourself has to come first, because we live in a world right now that our minds just keep cycling and just keep, we can build this story. If you listen too much, I try to stay informed, but I mean, you can build this story up to be so beyond a nightmare. And I
Yes.
think it's really important to do things that can ground yourself. And for me, that's walking my dog. I gardened. I mean, I really gardened this year. It's watching a
Nice.
funny movie. And lastly, as a music therapist, I will always say, try music. Try some music without words, so you don't have to think about the words. Pick some song from when you were 14 years old and it makes you feel good. I mean, I used to always say, I go back to the 80s. So if I'm not feeling great and I might be making dinner, I might throw on Whitney Houston and I dance in the kitchen as I'm cutting up vegetables. Um, Music is a beautiful portal for you to take what is happening in here and use sound to just be with it. And it's unbelievable how it can help you get this out, especially if you sing on the top of your lungs and nobody's listening. That's why
That's
showers
right.
was so
Yeah,
popular for so many years. So
that's right. I love that. Those are wonderful tips. Thank you so much,
you're so welcome.
Tom. I honor the light in you.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Too. Thank you.
You know, I am very interested in this interlude. I believe the new offering new program for adults and parents for music therapy. Do you know any more about that?
Yes, so Interlude, which is by a Place to Be, which Tom Sweitzer is one of the founders of that. I can't tell you enough good things about it because after I chatted with Tom, I signed up for the program. I mean, I was that drawn to it. I can't tell you how valuable it's been for me.
Wow.
I have gotten so much out of it. We have touched on so many different things. I've meditated to beautiful guitar playing music by Sam, who was my music therapist, and we have composed lyrics and music. And we have, they were trying to teach me to play the guitar. I think I'm going to need a lot more work with that.
So
But
you
I
know
tell
what's interesting? I'm just sorry to. Do
you,
you need experience singing or with music before, or can you just jump right in?
no, yeah, you can just jump right in, wherever your level of comfort is. And the beauty of it is that they'll walk you through it. They'll talk you through it, what would you like to get out of it? Or, I mean, I don't know their methodology, but it's a beautiful thing that they can work with people with no musical experience or background to people that have a lot of musical experience.
Yeah, so I'm excited to check it out. I saw there's a free assessment on the website. It's telehealthmusic.com, TELE healthmusic.com. Yeah, so just go there, check it out, and see what it's about. Looking forward to it.
Great. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for listening to Uno Souls Chat. You can find us at www.unosouls.com and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I would love to hear from you if you would like to chat with me. Have a beautiful week and see you at the next episode.